this week. Lions host the Chargers tomorrow, 1 p.m. at Ford Field for the 1-0 Chargers and the 0-1 Lions. This update brought to you by Buff Whalen Chevrolet. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 971theticket.com.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. Alongside of me, Lisa Lawson.
Morning.
Hey, Lisa. How you doing? Good morning.
How are you?
You brought in a great guest today, Kathy Marsh from Realty Executives.
Guest.
Hey, guys.
Kathy, I'd love to have you here. You're awesome.
Thank you. I
Kathy,
appreciate being here.
You're great. And not only that, you dressed up for the occasion. We are on Facebook Live. If any of our listeners are out there, you can check us out on Facebook Live, of course, or turn up the radio. We give you 1 hour of the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Again, we'll take your calls here live in the studio at 248-539-9797. Brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Always powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation and MLS 2289. And so much to share with you. Of course, a gorgeous day outside. Football season's happening. A lot of high school football vibes going on. I know, Lisa, a little bit of football talk here to start things out. You even got it's your nephew.
My nephew,
Yeah, your nephew's out there at Alma playing.
Plays at Alma, yep.
That's awesome. You know, he continued his high school career. He wanted to play some ball in college, get an education.
Yep.
And it's a little shout out to all the guys out there working hard. And of course, today, still some games, high school games coming up today. And of course, Michigan State at 4:30. So it's fun. It's fun to be on a sports station, but we get to talk real estate and mortgages. And that's pretty exciting stuff too, Kathy, as you're out there showing homes and people are buying homes. What's the general vibe out there as we're headed into the fall and winter of 2019? What are you feeling versus maybe last year?
Actually, I think it's similar to last year. And I feel like obviously it starts to slow down a little bit, but we're going to start picking back up again. And there's never a bad time to list or to buy a home.
Yeah, especially in today's marketplace where it seems like there still might be that little bit of lack of inventory for the good houses. So we'll get into the inventory conversation. Also, like you mentioned, Kathy, it's never a bad time, but things do slow down at the end of August, September, at least as kids are getting back into high school. Parents are sort of, at this point, they just don't want to deal with it. It's a transition period.
Right. It's a transition period. It is every year. The kids go back to school. We have a few weeks where parents are getting acclimated. They have to stay up late, pack lunches, get up early. And after that acclimation period kind of happens, things pick up back up. And we're really on the cusp right now of that picking back up. So if you were thinking about listing, thinking that this might be the perfect time to sell the home, this is it. You can still get top dollar. Home values are still high. You can make a lot of money on your home, whether you need to. Some people need to downsize. Some people need to have a growing family, need to get a bigger home. This is the time to evaluate if this is the right time to do that.
A lot of the inventory out there has been something we spoke about over the last few years. So there's multiple bids on the great houses. That price range, pretty much that $120,000 to $300,000 price range. Everyone's buying in that price range. You got to have your ducks in a row. You got to be working with real professionals. Are you seeing that lack of inventory still, or what do you see in your backyard?
Absolutely, definitely a lack of inventory. But the buyers are still ready. They want. So if you are thinking about listing your house, just get out there, get it done. Call me, and Kathy.
If you're a buyer, you may have to be a little patient because we actually just had one that closed not that long ago, and I my heart bled for this poor girl. She was making very, very strong offers, asking and above, and I can't even tell you how many offers.
7.
There you go. 7 offers.
And we're talking
finally
got one.
Finally got one. So you may have to be a little patient because the inventory is still very tight. But this is the time you're going to get the right house for you.
What was that price range? I know you had mentioned that on the phone too, Kathy. What was that price range? I know she's out there, first-time home buyer.
$120,000.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
$120,000. That is actually
a starter home.
The starter homes are actually really just a little hot biscuit.
Yeah.
Those. So if you're really, it's great. It's great. That's the price range between like 120, 150, or about 100,000 to 150. That is just so many buyers for that.
Even a 2-bedroom apartment anywhere in Southeast Michigan or really across the country, you're looking over $1,000. I mean, closer to $1,500. Rent continuously goes up. We're seeing it. All the landlords jumped in there and bought up all these homes during the housing debacle of 2007 and 9. So that's what the situation is as a first-time home buyer. You might think, hey, this is great. I'm going to get approved. I'm going to go out there and the first offer I'm going to make, I'm going to find something I like. It's going to happen.
Don't give up.
you're competing with so many different families in that price range. Also, investors.
Yes, investors will come in and cash and swoop it up too. So you have to be a little bit patient in that price range, but it is totally worth the effort. You're going to be a homeowner, you're going to build your own equity, and you're going to stop paying somebody else's mortgage, with your rent payment. So it makes a huge difference, and often whatever they're paying in rent, we're talking that price range, often their mortgage payment is less. In that price range than what they've been used to be paying. So you could be saving money, stocking things away for your future. It just makes sense all the way around.
Yeah.
So again, these competitive offers are coming in, and it's a lot of work back and forth, and you're negotiating. You finally get that offer, and I'll go ahead and get it accepted, and then the inspection phase comes up. And sure enough, because all of our homes here, well, at least over 50% of them are over 40 years old across Southeast Michigan, across the United States. We have an aging housing market because these homes were built in the 40s to the 60s, maybe even a lot of them prior to that.
Yeah.
But those homes are old, so there's going to be issues, and we are seeing them in the office.
Yeah.
There's a lot of renegotiation after the inspection. Tell us a little bit about that. Maybe you just had one recently, a situation that came up. Is it asking too much? Is it because the sellers already know they let some things go over the years? What's the real reaction when you have to go back and forth with that negotiation?
Well, the real reaction is frustration. So that's the number one thing. But, you got to talk your seller off the ledge, and you got to get down with, realistically, we have to take care of some of these things. And it is a lot of times the seller's responsibility, depending on what it is. But I always tell my buyers, we're only going to pick on the majors.
Right.
We're not going to pick on, little things. It's just things that are hidden that we didn't know. Let's just pick on the most important things. Like if it's a furnace or if it's a septic issue or mold, those types of things, we want to, address those things.
Yeah,
Not really worry about the little stuff.
You hit on those big ones, the sewer lines, the roofs, assessments are also big. A lot of the subdivisions now are finally getting the association to agree that, look, we got to redo the roads here. Yeah, folks, you're going to have to come up with whether it be $500 or $1,000 annually until you can pay off your road assessments. But yeah, redoing your roads in your subdivision will definitely add value. But these are the things that are coming up as renegotiations: the sewer lines, the roofs, the septics, the wells. Yeah, if you haven't done any service on your septic, if you bought the house 20 years ago and the well is now 30, 40 years old, likely it's not going to be up to standard in today's marketplace. And more importantly, those buyers are going to want it replaced, and those can be rather expensive.
Well, it's really good for sellers when you're going to list your house. Really prepare, prep that house, go through the bullet points, look at your house, check it out. You can even get your own home inspection if you want to. You can get professional contractors over there to look at things too. Get your house ready and let your buyers know, hey, this is everything we've done to our house. We want to see your updates in the last 10 years. How have you updated the house?
I think sellers getting an inspection is a smart idea too, because you hopefully then eliminate somebody coming back to renegotiate because an inspection found something.
Yeah.
You as the seller will already know what's been found and hopefully remedy that.
Yeah.
Some things can be big things, some things can be small, but either way you would be knowledgeable about what those are, and hopefully if you're trying to get top dollar for your house, fixing those things before you list is the way to do that.
Exactly. And you can control the cost,
right?
Because you can get 3 or 4 bids on something, or maybe you're a seller that knows a lot of people,
right?
Maybe friends, family that know how to do these types of
I think,
jobs.
You just nailed something. I didn't even think about it that way.
True.
It's more importantly, not only can you get it fixed the right way, but you have time to get it fixed the right way at the right price. You're not scrambling because the buyer's already, hey, this is wrong.
Yeah.
And you
now
got a
you're
week
third
to
beck
fix
and call.
it. That's right. I didn't even think about that. So you really have more control. And
you do.
Yeah.
And then
you do
keep
it
a
beforehand.
list. Keep a list. And if you're a seller that doesn't have the extra money to do a lot of things to your home, just clean it. Declutter it.
Spick and span. Make it looking
smell
good.
Yes.
Caulk. That doesn't cost much to caulk.
Right. Makes a huge difference in what it
doesn't
looks
cost
like.
much to paint, depending on the house, but you can get that for minimal too. Cleaning up your flower beds.
Weeding.
Power washing. Just simple things. Make it just adorable, cute. Stage it. I love a staged house.
There you go.
Stage
Definitely
homes
get it up on the
more money.
marketplace and do the right things to
Make
get it on the
look
market.
good.
All right, 248-539-9797. We're just diving in all this, buying and selling homes. We come back, all your calls. Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed, alongside of me, John Cole.
How's it going today, guys?
Oh, it's fantastic, John. You bring in a great staff here. We got a whole crew here this morning. Of course, Jessica, you're already going there. Jessica Zelke, there she is. How you doing, Jess? We'll start with you first.
Good. Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, Kevin gets all the attention all the time, of course, with Kevin Stewart here, the Stewart Team Real Estate Partners in downtown Rochester. Great to have you guys.
How's it going?
Good to see you guys. Always a lot of fun. We got tons of information to share with you. I still haven't made it out to your new office on downtown Main Street in Rochester Hills.
4th and Main.
Unbelievable. I can't wait to get down there. Is there another grand opening? Did I already miss the food?
You can come. We'll have a private grand opening just for you. You know, you can invite some friends. We'll have a good time.
All right. You know, you real estate guys always have good food laying around and lots to talk about. But things are really jumping still. It's the end of, sort of coming up on the end of summer here, right? We've got another couple of weeks to the 21st. It feels like fall's in the air because we're already kicking off football season today here on 97.1.
Don't talk to Jess about that. She's really, really sad. She doesn't like when the weather changes. She says that everything's dying and it makes her sad.
Summer,
yeah, it really isn't. But hey, hurry up and take those last pictures, right, John? Because you might want to show that house out. We got a lot to talk about because this time of year is a transition. And hurry up and take those pictures of the flowers and the green grass and everything that's nice. Because if your house goes up on the market in November, December, you can bring those pictures out and you can show how pretty things do look in the summertime. And I think that's important too. A little bit about a staging in the dead winter months. Prepare yourself now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, transition season's always interesting. Our advice that we give towards our sellers this time of year is always a little different than what we do in other seasons. And it's a time where you got to be conscious about what's going on around you. And I think that as we were talking about right before the show started, there's a lot of interesting things happening in the market right now. But I think most of them are explainable, and they're things that we've seen and trends that we've seen for a decade. So.
Yeah, and we're all hoping that the summer continues, right? I mean, we still got a lot.
None of us want the summer to go away. I mean, we want to keep the great weather. We want to keep the beautiful golf courses and all the fun stuff that we do. And boating season, that's why Jessica gets sad. She gets sad when boating season comes to
I'm with you on that, Jess. Hey, definitely we're going to take your calls all morning long. 248-539-9797. We're brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. You can call us in the office all day long at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Also powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. NMLS 2289, and you can find us all week long at Capital Mortgage Funding. I know we got a full staff there all weekend long. Yeah, there's still, yesterday I was sending out approval letters, and there's a lot of negotiations happening. And John, of course, we're also in a refinance mode right now, where these mortgage rates have dropped. Of course, geopolitical events, trade war talk between, obviously, China and the United States has driven these interest rates down back like 3-year lows again.
Oh, it's crazy out there right now. I mean, if you're not looking into doing something now, you're missing the boat. I mean, rates are not 2%, just like everybody advertises, but they are in the 3s, and it's a perfect time to get something done. Convert yourself from a 30-year to a 20-year, a 30-year to a 15-year, just so you're comfortable with the payment. Get that period knocked down. It's just a good time.
Yeah, the loan to values do come into play, and there's a lot to understand about refinancing. We're going to talk always Radio. Welcome back to the show. 9:16. The sun is shining. Gorgeous day outside. September 14, 2019. You got it on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Show just till 10 o'clock. And, of course, we'll have sports here all day. Pat Caputo and the whole staff coming in to rock and roll and talk about sports here. We got so much going on, a lot of football. And, of course, the Lions will be trying to tackle on San Diego tomorrow. So, boy, that's going to get interesting again on Monday, as we said last Saturday.
Right.
Hey, let's go off to a call here, 248-539-9797. If you want to join the show, we've got Mark calling in from Troy. Good morning, Mark. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead with your question. Yeah.
I had a question. I paid off my mortgage in full last week.
Congratulations.
And thank you. I was wondering what I should expect and whether it's my responsibility to have a lien taken off of the title, or will I get the original documentation? I just really don't know what to expect. I got a congratulations letter from my mortgage company, but it's very vague as to anything I need to be doing.
Well, yeah, I want to get a copy of that discharge of mortgage. So, I mean, the congratulations letter is great for starters.
Right.
But, yeah, definitely, Lisa, what do you think? A couple weeks, or he should have to follow up on the
Troy,
discharge?
I would say, yeah, I would give it a few weeks, even up to a month. They're going to record a discharge of mortgage, and you should be getting that in the mail, and that discharges the lien. And I don't know how every municipality is a little different. So I would give them about a month, and if not, then I would call them and say I never got a copy of it, and make sure that you
hang on
get
to
it.
those papers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Once
hang
you
on to
get them, save them, put them in a safe place, because sometimes they get misplaced, or people pull credit and they'll still see an open lien that hasn't been closed. With that document, once you receive it, you'll be able to prove that that's been closed.
Yeah, that's a
and
good one to keep.
discharged.
Hey, Mark, one of the other things that sort of just came into my mind was, did you have an escrow account? Were you paying taxes and insurance in your
No.
payment, or were you on your own?
No, I had an escrow account.
Yeah, so that's another thing about it is I wonder, Lisa, they must refund the escrow account, won't they? Yeah,
Within
if you no
30
longer,
days after the payoff.
Okay, so that's key, Mark, because, yeah, that escrow account that you have, they probably just paid your summer taxes, so you want to double check on that, and then make sure you find out and get back what is the remaining amount in your escrow account, and then get ready for December 1st's tax bill, because you're going to be paying those taxes on your own.
Right, something that they've been handling for me for 14 years, and
Right.
now it's my responsibility.
Well, congrats. Now you got all this extra money and the cash flow is good, so just hang in there, sock it away for retirement, and you're going to be all set. It sounds like you're on the path to righteousness.
Thank you very much.
And
Thanks
Mark,
for the
wait
call.
a minute. If I had a bell, I would ring it. So congratulations.
We'll ring
I
the
was
bell.
going to say buy a second home in I don't know, where do you like to go? Traverse City?
Yeah, that's not bad
Yeah.
idea.
Go buy a house on a lake. I'm
Well,
just
we're
there,
mortgage
little
people.
cabin.
We
We're
always
mortgage
want you in
people,
debt.
that's right. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, and I'm a salesperson. I always want to sell you something. So
Well, good stuff. It's great when you get those calls every now and then. Again, but if you heard a little bit in there, he just started 14 years ago. He got himself a 15-year
ding.
mortgage. Right now, if you're paying on a 30-year mortgage, look, I had to do it. I had some expensive houses over the years, but if you could do the math, interest rates, of course, have dropped down. Recently, we're going to get into the interest rate conversation because things are going haywire here. But yeah, what a great opportunity if you can get into a 15-year mortgage before you know it. That house is free and clear. Well, the train's been rolling, Lise. You know about it.
Yeah.
It's all the headlines are that the mortgage rates are down. We've been talking about it for 8 weeks. But wait, this was the worst week
This
for
week.
mortgage rates
Correct.
in 3 years. Hello.
Correct. So everyone calls, they call and be like, oh, I heard the mortgage rates are phenomenal. And I want to be like, absolutely, last week. Mm-hmm. The truth is, and Harvey and everybody in the industry knows, the rates have gone haywire is a perfect word for that this past week. And they have increased a bit this week. We're hoping things settle out next week. And again, nobody can predict rates. That's the truth. So if you have a good rate,
right.
what I can tell people is if you're happy with the quote and these people, are giving you the numbers that you want, do not wait. Do not sit and think about it for a week, because people who thought about it a week ago now, are calling us and saying, I want to get that locked in. And unfortunately, those rates aren't available anymore. So time is always of the essence when we come in this business, but especially right now. So we're hoping things settle back out. Again, there's no crystal ball, but they are a little wonky at the moment.
Yeah, again, they just burped up, let's say, 1/4 to 0.5%, depending upon what's going on or what program you had. At the beginning of the week, it was something 11.7 million people could have refinanced. Now, as the rates come up a little bit, now it's off about 2 million folks out there who didn't take advantage of it.
Right.
That's a lot of families out there.
That could have saved some money.
There's something psychologically about what happens when interest rates start dropping. I don't know what it is. When rates are dropping, families psychologically hold off. They think that it's endless. Oh, hey,
Right.
rates are great right now. Oh, it's going to get better.
Right.
There's something psychologically wrong with that.
I can't even tell you, Harvey. I had somebody who called me earlier I want to say it might have been June, and they said, we're going to wait till October. We're going to wait till
what
October.
is that?
We're going to wait till October. Well, between when that happened in October, something else has happened in there in their life, and now they cannot refinance. So waiting has just cost them.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that the rate that was available back then is currently not available now.
Right.
So, I don't understand the mindset sometimes. Sometimes time is of the essence, and you have to take advantage of, what's out there. And
that is it. Time is of the essence.
Right.
That is, we kind of live like that all the
Correct.
time, don't
Yeah.
we? This is the now. Now, today is now. We're going to do it today.
Right. And then I feel bad because obviously you wanted to save them money, or you wanted to get whatever they wanted, completed for them. But, just them hesitating is then cost them and sometimes makes it.
Give you an idea,
undoable.
a 0.25% bump in rate, let's say on $100,000 would be $16 on a 30-year mortgage. So if it's a $200,000 mortgage and the rate went up a 0.25% on you, we're at $32.
Right.
Double that if your rate goes up 0.5%. $64 that you would have had a less of a payment, now $64 more of a payment.
Right.
Now, again, a lot better than they were last year this time, though,
Absolutely.
right? So
Correct.
I guess there's always the bright side is it's been fantastic over the last year of 2019 has been good.
Year and a half. Yeah.
We were creeping up to 5%. I mean, I got lots of clients that were really close to getting that if they had lower credit scores, if they were going 3% down with lower credit scores.
Right.
It got close to 5%. The experts predicted 5.5%. About 2 years ago for this time. So we're way ahead of things. And again, some geopolitical events. Mr. Trump could say something on Monday or Tuesday. And of course, the talks of the China trade talks. Yeah. There's a lot going on right now that are going to make these rates extremely volatile.
Absolutely.
But even still, 5% is still good.
It is.
Right.
It is.
They're not that high now, right? And they're not that high now.
So comparatively, over the past many years, it's been, in the 80s, it was up to what?
Double digits.
Okay, so there you go.
80s were double digits.
Still cheaper than renting.
Yes, much
folks.
cheaper.
It's still cheaper than renting. So if you really get out of the renting,
I
hate to say that for those who have invested in rental properties, but buy a home.
Right.
Yeah, they're always going to make their money because there's going to be a group of society that, due to different situations in life, there's a lot of families that can. You might even be transit where you're just not not going to be here in Michigan that long.
Exactly.
And if you're not going to stay for probably at least, I would say 3 years, it's probably still difficult unless you're speculating or really able to steal a house. You got to be able to stay at least for 3 years, probably to absorb the cost of even selling the place.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, my daughter bought a house 3 years ago.
Yes.
Paid $80,000. Of course, I was her agent.
Yes, good job, Mom.
And I kind of tried to talk her out of this house because it needed so much work.
Okay.
However, she was really set on it. Of course, I knew I was going to put my hands to the plow too. So I guess that's probably why I wanted to talk her out of it. And but anywho, we worked together and did a lot of work to it. She financed Lowe's for cabinets, Home Depot for doors, whatever, and just used their money and paid it off as she went. And now her home is probably worth about $150, $160.
Wow, that's a great story.
In 3 years. So she put about maybe $20,000 into it. Of course, her dad did work to it, bought windows, had somebody install, that type of thing. And so doing that has caused her to have some good equity.
Some serious equity.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
A step in the right direction too, like a young lady here, and she's able to get some roots behind her.
Yes.
Probably stability for for her family. She has children.
She has a newborn baby,
There you
little
go.
baby Goldie, named after my mama.
Yep.
And little Xavier, and she's married to a wonderful man. Happy birthday, Tony! Love
All right.
you.
So there you go. It's a great story, and it's just not your family or our friends. It's everybody. It's everyone
happens.
has this
It
opportunity
happens,
out
right.
there.
Yeah.
You guys started off the show talking about the lady who it took her a year to find her place, 7
Correct.
different offers, but she couldn't be happier. And of course,
she can't.
Well,
She's
you know
super-
what? She came to our buyer seminar.
That's right. That's how we
She's
met her.
actually a daughter. I've known her since she was little of a guy that I went to school with.
Yeah. So if you're, and that's something else to bring up. Yeah. If you're not quite ready or you don't really know what to expect, Kathy and I have buyer seminars. We're actually going to have one, October 17th is going to be our next one. And they're a smaller group, maybe 10, 12 people, and you can ask all the questions that you want. And we highlight this is what you expect as the, from your agent. This is what you should expect from your lender. And then any questions that you have. So you don't have to feel pressure. You don't have to feel unknowledgeable going in. And I hate to say it, but we'll hold your hand.
not only that, it's free.
It's free. It's 100% free.
100% free. We're going to talk about that because that's talking the beginnings of a strong pre-approval letter and making yourself successful for home ownership.
Yep.
All right, we're up against a quick break here. 248-539-9797. We come back. All your calls. Back to the show, 9:14. If you join us, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. You can find Ronnie J. and the entire staff there all weekend long. Get that strong approval letter. Sit down with real professionals and plan it out. That's what you got to do. You got to find out how much you qualify for, debt-to-income ratio, all the good stuff. We do that all. There's no obligation at all to work with us, but you will because you'll save lots of money. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
If you're going to call the office today, you got to talk to Ron. Ask him if he's wearing a sweater.
Yeah, he's got a sweater. It's
For
colder.
sure. It's colder out. He's got the best collection of sweaters that any man's out that I know.
Well, then this is his perfect season. He loves it.
Oh yeah.
Hey, we take all your calls, 248-539-9797. According to recent polls from National Association of Realtors, only 12% of the U.S. adults plan to buy a house next year. Well, that's a large number still. It's actually down 2% from 2018. So interesting to see what goes on with there. But 41% of them are planning and starting to look. And that's just it. Do you guys see, you saw the little slowdown in traffic? I mean, it's always that get the kids back to school, the end of the summer. So it's been a little slower here, I think, in Metro Detroit in certain pockets. But I've had some humongous Octobers. And truly, based on the phone calls I had throughout the week and a couple pre-approval letters, I'm guessing we are going to have a stronger fall and winter, a little bit better than last year.
I really hope that we do. I mean, I think that last fall, coming into winter, fourth quarter really was super, super quiet. I mean, I know I was here on the show when we were talking about it. We had a big conversation about it. So I have to believe that it's going to be better. The conditions coming into the fall, I think, are set up better now. They're better than they were last year. The traditional back to school slowdown was a thing. It always is a thing. It's the 2 or 3 weeks before school starts back, the week after school starts back, which is this past week, are typically kind of quiet. Everyone's trying to get back in their routine, figure out their routine. But from next week on, for about, Jess, would you say 2 months?
Oh, yeah.
About 2 months, I think we've got real opportunity to do some great things. We're telling a lot of our sellers right now, get on the market right now. You need to be available. You need to be up there and ready for buyers to see you. And Jessica, I know, is talking through with her buyers that now is a great time because sellers are going to be coming on the market, still trying to get their sale in before the end of the year. And buyers can take that opportunity to see new inventory. So it's a good time for both sides of the table. The market's pretty even. I don't think the buyers nor the sellers are necessarily in charge. You know, we talk a lot on this show about who's in charge is a buyer's market, seller's market. I think it's just a real estate market right now.
Yeah, just a good, strong overall market.
I think it's a good overall, strong, even market. Interest rates are good. Prices are fine. There's really, you know, it's kind of business as usual right now, which isn't a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with that because typically if you're selling, you're buying as well. You're going to be on both sides of the table at some point. So an even market isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, you got to just make sure you're out there taking a look at everything. If you do want to sell your house, put it on the market. People are still people waited until the summer was over to start looking at houses.
Right.
Because they wanted to just enjoy the summer, not worry about that. Now that the summer's not over. I'm going to stop saying that. Before somebody calls in and yells at me.
Every single time Jessica tears, I see a tear drop every time you say summer's over. Another tear.
But it's just a perfect time to do something for selling your home. It is. It's you know, people are there's the people who don't have kids that don't have to worry about kids in school, still out there looking for homes, want to get in something before the holidays, before Thanksgiving, before Christmas. You're going to find that buyer, and it's going to be perfect.
People have asked me for years, what's the best time of year to buy a house? And I have said, if me personally, myself, Jessica's heard me say this for years, I would always buy a home this time of year.
Right now.
Fall coming into the holidays, I think it's the perfect time to buy a house. I really do. I think it's a great transitional time. I think that the spring market, though it's awesome for a buy.
All righty, welcome back to the show, 9:30. All right, little Uncle Ted there to keep things rolling here. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Give us a call here live in the studio, 248-539-9797. always at Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. You can watch us on Facebook Live, like our show. We appreciate it. You can send some questions there. We usually get back with you throughout the day or through the week.
Yep.
And today we brought in Kathy March, of course, from great office there, Realty Executives hometown in Shelby Township. And I had some...
It's a beautiful brand new office.
Oh.
It is gorgeous.
What are you
They
Crossroads?
just built
Where is
it.
it?
It's
22 in Hayes.
22 in Hayes. Yeah.
Okay, that's out in your neck of the woods. Like you said, Lisa, right across the street from where
That's
you
right.
live.
You can come to my
Lisa
house
can
after.
I can walk over for lunch.
That's right.
Yeah,
No,
McCombs.
better yet, dinner and a glass of wine.
That sounds good. McComb's been jumping forever. It just
It is.
continuously grows. You know, even when I thought 22 mile was
Construction.
north, you better head up to 28 and 26 and north of
Yes.
that because
Yes.
they're building all the way New Haven, all the way up and through the next county. So
Yes,
just north
love
of you.
it.
So a lot of new construction going on. Definitely could get in touch with professional real estate agents who know the area very well. And
Yeah.
Kathy would be a good start. Again, you can call Capital Mortgage Funding. We'll set you up with that strong approval letter. And that's the key, Lisa, as we talk about
Yes.
pre-approval letters. You talk about these home buying seminars. It's got
Yes.
great opportunities for families or individuals to sit down with qualified loan officers. And it's a Q&A. It's back and forth, and you're building your knowledge bank, and you're sponging in all this great information. It's going to give you the confidence. That knowledge gives you that confidence to move forward. And the clients that don't meet with us, this is proven fact. I just had one again. I couldn't get the guy to meet with me, this and that. The deals get sloppy, especially if they don't have their ducks in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they say knowledge is power, and there's a reason they say that. And I think when we take the time, this is usually the largest purchase for most people that they're ever going to make in their lifetime, and to spend half hour, an hour at least, understanding what would be expected of them and what we're going to offer. And so we have a good understanding. So we know that we're putting you in the best available mortgages for your specific situation or position. Without those conversations and taking the time to do that research, you might not end up in the best mortgage product because you haven't taken the time to explain to us what you're looking for. And we want to, ask all those questions. It's so important, to have a smooth transaction, and it all starts up in advance by getting all that information and documentation.
Right. A lot of times, even getting the funds together. So we always talk about credit. You might want to get your ducks in a row on your credit. Just improving your credit score, 20 or 30 points, might get you that sweeter interest rate. And then, of course, always the funds to close. What are you going to jump in with on that?
Well, I was going to say absolutely. We have to position you in the best light that you can be in.
Right. I always say, let's take the opportunity to maximize your credit score. Like when we first pull credit, right, we always tell people, they're like, well, what do I am approved for? I'm like, this is what it is now. But you don't have a house. You don't have an under contract at this exact moment. So while we're looking for a house, why don't we take the opportunity to maximize your position? Sometimes it's not even spending money or paying down debt. Sometimes it's redistributing your debt. I've had it where we can bump people 20 some points by redistributing debt over the debt that they already have. So we're not increasing it and we're not paying it down because sometimes they don't have extra funds to pay down with their down payment. You know what I mean? So there's so many things that we can do. But again, knowledge is power, and speaking to a qualified loan officer.
It's night and day.
Right. Well, people say, well,
I called
XYZ
somebody and I'm
company,
shopping
they
interest
didn't-
rate.
No,
How about
my-
if we say this, Lisa?
Oh.
When you're asking, if you're a consumer out there and you can only ask your mortgage person what the interest rate is, then you don't have the knowledge.
Then there's not enough knowledge there.
Right. If you're only asking what the interest rate is, you're on a dead end street. And if they can't give you any more information, it's probably the wrong person. Hey, let's move off to a call because we're going to be talking about funds and credit and all that other good stuff. Let's try, I don't even know who we have out there, but let's bring them up. Are we ready for the call? There we go. Hey, good morning. Welcome to our show. Who are we speaking with?
Morning.
Hi, this is Robert.
Hey, Robert. What's happening?
Okay, listen, I purchased a condo, and it's going through underwriting right now.
Yeah.
And the appraisal was done on it, and we think the appraisal came back too high. We think the appraiser made the price the same as the contract price.
You're the buyer. You're the buyer.
Sorry?
You're the buyer
Yeah,
on this.
Buyer. I'm the buyer, yes.
You made
I'm
an
the
offer.
buyer.
Give me some numbers here, Robert. So you made an offer of how much?
Well, we made an offer of 100. They were asking 175. We actually made an offer of 175.
And appraisal came back, and you're looking at it, and it came back at 175.
Yes, and the appraisals, all the comps in the area are a lot lower. There isn't one comp near that price in the same complex that we bought.
That's odd.
As recently as June.
That's odd because, the appraiser we usually, there's no appraiser out there. Not that I know of, Lisa, and we do this every day, that's coming over asking price or, would intentionally go ahead and sabotage your own appraisal. No other units similar to yours have sold. Is that what you're telling me? If it's a condo, then there are similar units. And those units haven't sold for 175, yet your purchase agreement says 175 and the appraisal came in at 175. I don't really see there's a problem here, but tell me more. Give me a little bit more on this.
Well, the only thing I was curious about is if we should get another independent appraisal and see if that one comes in.
Well, you can't. It's irrelevant, and the lender can only order the appraisal.
Correct. Anything that you do as an independent appraisal is not submittable to an underwriter, so you're wasting your resources and money. That's the truth.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Does this particular condo have more updates in it than the other condos? One. And two, why is that an issue for you?
Yeah, you liked it at 175, right?
Actually, we have less updates than the other condos that came in at a lower price.
Robert, why didn't you offer? Let me ask you this. You got an agent. Again, I don't want to pick on anyone here. I don't know enough about it yet. Why didn't you offer, if you knew that the other comparable sales are selling for 170, let's say, 5,000 less, why did you offer a full price? Because maybe at 170 or 168, wouldn't they have accepted your offer?
No, I don't think the seller would. The seller paid actually $172 for that place about a year and a half ago, and he wanted to get $175. I don't think he would have.
But you were okay. You were okay. Let's circle back to this.
We were okay. Oh, yeah, we were okay at the time. But then the more we went over it, the more we looked at it, we feel that we're getting. It's not the right appraisal. So
all right, let's move off the appraisal.
What are my options?
Your options are don't buy the place. You either want it for 175 or you don't want it for 175. Your lender hired the appraisal. They feel very comfortable at 175. You could call up your agent and say, look, I don't feel comfortable. Counter the offer at 170. You know what they'll tell you? We're not interested. So then
you're under contract.
Yeah, you're under contract. They can keep.
Were you hoping that the appraisal came in less so you could go back and renegotiate? Was that your hope?
Yes.
That's a bad strategy.
Yeah.
Robert, it just is. Yeah, Kathy, comment on that. Robert, I love the call.
Robert,
Kathy,
you know what?
On.
Unfortunately, that was a bad strategy. I don't know who came up with that, and you know what? It's nothing you can much do about it at this point. And do you need a place to live?
Yeah, if you like the place. Hey, Robert, how about this? You agree to buy it at 175. The appraisal comes in at 170, and you don't want to pay more than the appraised value, and the seller doesn't want to sell it for less. So guess what you lose? The $400 or $500 on the appraisal and the $350 on the inspection. You're out $850. Go find another place. That is your choice.
Yes.
You could do that. They could also keep your EMD at this point.
I was going to say, at this point, they may have the right to keep the earnest money deposit.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Can they keep the deposit? That was
yes.
Well, yeah.
Yes,
definitely.
If you break contract, they can keep the deposit.
Kathy, without picking on Robert's real estate agent, this is a complete disaster.
Yeah.
This is a bad strategy. I don't want to say a bad agent. Let's just say I don't know what the agent woke up that day and thought that this was an idea.
Well, I don't know who came up with the idea.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go back to the broker on this also because the mortgage broker that I have, I think he told the.
That's wrong. I'm going to tell you straight up. That ain't true, man. Robert, this is a hardcore mortgage show. I'm going to give you some hardcore stuff. The lender, although it wasn't us, so I'm going to defend some completely other guy. You should have came to Capital Mortgage anyways.
I should have. You're right. I should have.
But besides that, if it was us.
Next time. Call us next time.
The lender doesn't do anything wrong. The Home Valuation Code of Conduct that was established in 2009 prevents us from talking to the appraiser.
Correct.
I've talked to an appraiser
since.
since.
That's not what happened here. I was in his office when he called the appraiser to set up the appraisal for my condo. So
he called the appraisal management company, or he called the actual appraisal. Do you know? It wasn't the guy who came to your house.
He called the appraisal management company.
Okay,
right.
So the appraiser management company then contracts that out to an appraiser.
The appraiser works for the management company.
Correct. He does not work for the lender.
It's very random. You can't handpick your appraisals.
You can't handpick appraisers or appraisals anymore.
Hey, Rob. Let's do this, Lise. Don't you agree? Rob, find out through the broker, get your information. We'll follow up with you, definitely. I'd like to know more about it or whatever your outcome is. I just wish a little bit more knowledge up front or better strategy would have prepared for better.
What I like to do is I like to nix the deal and get a new broker and come to you guys because I think I got taken for a ride.
But again, but could you imagine? We move forward with you. We do an appraisal, cost you another $400 or $500, and the appraisal now comes in at $170. The seller's not going to sell it for $170. You just wasted $400 or $500.
No, because I think the seller might want to I don't think the seller wants to put it back on the market.
Well, then let's do this. Then go in there strong-handed, because it appears that if you lose the place, it's not the worst thing in the world. Go in there strong-handed and said, you know what? We're just not flat out comfortable. Nothing here sold. There's no comparable sales that have sold at this price range, and we have less amenities here. And we're going to go ahead and do something else.
You said you're an.
I actually like that
idea. We're going to move them on here. Yeah. All right, boy, that was a whole segment. That's a good call.
Wow. It is. Thank you.
Hey, how about that, Kathy? Your 21 years of experience would come into play in helping this guy, because I don't know about that strategy.
No, I would never recommend that.
Find out who you're working with. There's a lot of great real estate agents out there. 10% of them, anyways. 248-539-9797. We come back.
I'm in the 10.
All your questions. Welcome back to the show. 9:45. If you're just joining us, it is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. We do loans everywhere. You're going to save a ton of money. Just give us a call. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. We always take your calls here live in the studio. 248-539-9797. Tons of football. And yes, we are in football season. You only have to listen to me for another, 15 minutes or so. And then it's going to be Pat Caputo.
Thank goodness.
Maybe Dennis Fifth. Yeah, I saw Dennis outside. I don't even know who's coming in today. But we got tons here lined up on 97.1. It's going to be really exciting. And, of course, Lions football tomorrow. But okay.
How can you not love football season?
I'm so pumped up for it. Yeah, I mean, we got to have some W's here. We need Michigan. We got State.
I think I don't want to be that guy, but I think we're pretty locked in on a couple W's this weekend. It's going to be a long week of conversations if we don't.
Hey,
I mean, Michigan is. I'm not sure about State.
Well, State's defense can score. I saw an article that said that. When the offense gets on, they should just automatically punt and let the defense take over.
Ooh. All right. Well, that's going to be the talk for the next few weeks for sure. Buyers and sellers trust you guys, man. They really do. Buyers are calling whoever you're going to buy a house. If you haven't been referred to someone professional, they just call anyone. And they trust that person, whether it be right or wrong. Should they trust that person? Maybe not. But a lot of trust goes into what you guys do.
It's the number one most important thing about hiring an agent, a team, a company. To represent you, you have to trust them, because we give our clients advice on the regular, and we give them a lot of advice that is really, really important and things that affect them for a very long amount of time. I mean, this is the largest transaction someone's ever going to make in their life. They say it's the largest, financial transaction most people will ever make. And you're putting that trust into somebody that you don't necessarily know. That's why we've built our business the way we've built it. We've built it based on trust and based on growing relationships. We're over 99% referral and repeat. That's been our company for a long time, and it's doing a really good job taking care of people, showing them that they can trust us, proving to them that they can trust us. Therefore, they tell other people that they can trust us.
You guys have a great reputation out there.
Yeah, you guys give the advice even though if it doesn't turn into a transaction. Just being real. And like you said, you're going to tell somebody what they can sell it for, not what they want to hear. And sometimes that may be to the detriment of you not getting the transaction. But at least you're giving the right advice, and that's what's important. That's who you should work with.
Yeah, I was told a long time ago, treat every client like they're your client until they're your client. And I think that it's just a mutual respect thing. If I respect my industry and I respect people around me, I'm going to give good sound advice that I feel is to the benefit of not just the client, but the benefit of the real estate industry. I think that our industry gets a really, really
All righty, welcome back to the show, 945. Man, we get some interesting calls here. So I kick it up a little bit. It's Mortgages and Real Estate. 248-539-9797, the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Call the experts at Capital, and we got tons of staff all weekend long. Get that strong approval letter. Get the knowledge you need. Kathy, you're hearing it here live on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an interesting call. We in the industry, lenders and real estate agents, we jump up for joy when the appraisal matches the purchase agreement.
We
all
love
have- That's great. So this one's a little interesting. Again, we talked about maybe a bad strategy. We'll talk off the air with that one and maybe circle back. Let's go out to Scott. Scott, thank you for your patience hanging in there. You're selling a house and you have an appraisal question. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. We got full asking price.
Congratulations.
There was thank you. Well, show me the money first.
Yeah.
The people ask, is your house sold? I go, well, no, it isn't. But till you close. But the appraiser came out 2 weeks ago. My agent inquired as to what the numbers were, and he said, well, I don't do numbers. I give all that to the lender.
Absolutely.
And we haven't heard anything for another week. So I'm
that's
maybe
odd.
I'm being kind of something just doesn't sit right.
Where are you? Scott, where's the house?
Mount Clemens.
Oh,
well,
I just listed a house in Mount Clemens.
We'll all agree, us three sitting here agree that no more in today's market. It's been a little busier over the last couple of weeks, so we'll give them a little leeway. But from the time they were at your house, I don't know, 10 days to no more than 14 days. How long's it been?
Usually it's a week to 10 days.
Yeah, even in busy times.
It was 2 weeks yesterday.
So
and you don't get a copy as a seller, right? You won't get a copy of the appraisal, but they should be able to tell you the appraisal came in at value and no repairs were needed, so you're good to go. Via your agent, right? So your agent should be communicating with the buyer's agent and should be able to pass that information on to you. You're not entitled to a
He has been, and I think the stumbling block may be the buyer's agent. And I can't change that.
Okay.
There's been some other things that I don't need to get into.
That makes sense.
I'm getting a little jittery.
Well, sit tight. How much are you selling the house for, Scott?
It was listed for $232,900.
And it's your primary residence?
Yes.
And you're going to be moving else to another property? Where are you going?
South Carolina.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
Sweet.
Hey, look, I definitely want to stay on top of it with you, and I will if you left your number. It's a little strange. If the market is $239 in your neighborhood, are you in a subdivision or an area where other homes similar to yours are selling for that price range?
Ours is a tough comp, but it's all over the place in Mount Clemens.
Are you by the hospital?
No.
Okay. Seminole Heights? Seminole Hills?
No, I'm the other side of the river, north of that.
Okay.
Hey, here's the deal. Hopefully we'll get that appraisal back this week. Like I said, I'm going to give it a little leeway to the people involved on the other side. But better communication. Yeah, usually an appraisal will not take more than 2 weeks. They're going to come in with the number. If worse comes to worse, you can hopefully negotiate something out if it doesn't get to your number. And I like what you said. Nothing's done until the closing table. That's correct.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. So I'll follow up with you, but I would, again, your agent will call the other agent, and then you guys have that pre-approval letter. So you're staring at that pre-approval letter, Scott. It's got my pre-approval letter's got my email, my cell phone, my office line. Call the lender and say, what's going on, dude?
I can call the lender?
Yeah, you can call the lender. You're the seller. Your agent should, but you can call the lender and say, hey, buddy, what's going on? Your agent, I don't care. Everybody can call.
And maybe because you haven't gotten a response, that might be a little bit of pressure to get a response and just say, look, I'm the seller. We don't seem to be getting an answer here. I just need to know, do we have value or don't we?
Right.
You know what I mean? Are there repairs needed or not? So we can move on and keep going here.
Right on. Hey, Scott, we'll follow up with you. You're a great man. I like your demeanor, really nice and calm. And hopefully I can give you some good information this week.
Good luck, Scott.
We'll follow up with you. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Interesting calls this morning. A lot of talk about value. It still comes up across the United States. Again, we see it in all the states. Some people, interesting. He wants the value to come in. The other caller was upset that it did come in. So you never know what you're going to get.
It's an emotional roller coaster, folks. Mm-hmm. Buying and selling is emotional.
It is, Kathy. There is a lot going on. Maybe we're like part-time psychologists here.
No, Lisa and I have talked about that.
Yes.
I've talked about that with so many people, but it does get emotional, and you do have to really calm your clients down and keep them on the goal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, a lot of good information still to share with you. Hey, I want to bring it up again, Lisa, because you are a MSHDA loan expert.
She
Michigan
is.
State Housing Development Authority has $7,500 down payment assistance. There's a couple different programs.
There's a lot of different programs.
There's a lot to know about it,
Yeah.
but if you're a first-time home buyer, even if you're a second-time home buyer,
Correct.
right, at least you can use the MSHDA program.
Right. So-
Quiet second lien, and
Yep.
a little bit to know. You got some credit score minimums of 640 and above.
Yep.
You can't have more than now. They've increased it where you can have up to
$20,000 in assets and still qualify for down payment assistance.
There you go. So
Wow,
again,
how
great
about that?
programs out there, down payment assistance programs. And least
The rates are phenomenal
on those. But how
And-
about our jumbo rates
Well,
even?
I was going to say people don't know that you can go MSHDA even if you don't need down payment assistance or subsidized rates. So if you are like, I graduated from college and I've been saving all my dimes and pennies and I got 60, 70 grand in the bank and I want to buy a house, put 20% down, they think they can't do MSHDA because they don't need down payment assistance. MSHDA has below market rates for first-time home buyers that qualify. So again, not necessarily down payment assistance. Talk to an educated lender who understands all the programs that are out there, whether it's MSHDA or jumbo loans.
Yeah, it could be anything for
Yes.
that
So
matter.
You guys hear these wonderful, smart lenders here. This is why I always tell my clients, they ask me a lot of questions and I can give them a little bit of an answer, but I always say, talk to your lender
Yes.
and the good ones. You guys are the good ones.
Thanks, Kathy. That's really nice, but I'm going to throw it over to Lisa because it's a 1,000% true statement. You know, even Mr. Bitter Harvey here, Mr. Angry Harvey here, who's been
You are
accused of
not
that.
bitter and
angry. He
But
is
look,
not.
Kath, you and I are talking on the phone, and I asked you a few questions, qualifying questions. I wanted
Yeah.
to get a good feel of your knowledge, and you've been around for 21 years. You said the smartest thing to me. You go, Harvey, I don't know. I refer to Lisa. So do I. When I don't know something, I call Lisa Lawson in my house.
That is true.
Yeah, there's
She is
Lisa,
one of the smartest ones.
Lisa,
She's-
you and I are top notch when it comes
We
to.
are.
You're way better than me, but
No, but
you're
thank
top
you.
notch when it comes to guidelines and stuff.
I am a nerd.
Yeah.
But what
It's
about
okay.
what about our consumers out there listening to our
Yeah.
show? They're calling dingalings. They're calling call centers that are
Yeah.
reading scripts. I mean,
Yeah, it's
folks,
not the
listen,
same.
folks, you got to stop. This is the
Yeah.
Hardcore Mortgage Show. I told you I'm going to start making this hardcore again.
Yeah.
I know who you're calling because I called the same dingalings yesterday.
Yeah.
In my hands yesterday, I'm embarrassed to say this. I won't even say the company because they might be too close to our proximity here in Detroit. But I literally have in my hands real loan estimates, real offers that are 1,000% wrong.
Correct, yeah.
Cash out refinances
Yeah.
that the client was told because he didn't take money out of the second lien that it's a rate and term refinance. It's not.
Not on conventional lending. It is purchase money only that can qualify as rate and term first and second
Lise,
combination. You have to know your guidelines. And unfortunately, when you call places that are,
Call centers,
there you go.
dorks
If it
across the
sounds too good to
country.
be
If it sounds too good to be true, it probably
Yes.
is. But if you call these places, they're trained in a different way. We're trained in guidelines. When new things come out, new information comes out, we're updated and we take that information and disseminate to everyone that we know or we try. They're trained in how to make a sale. And it's not the same thing because there's a lot of technical aspects to getting a mortgage loan. And when you're dealing with a salesperson, and I don't want to say a slickster, but just
Yeah.
like you described, they're going to keep saying, "Yeah, sure, we can do it, we can do it, we can do it." Guess what? The underwriter said we can't do it.
Yeah,
well, how
Okay,
did
but
you
wait
not,
a minute.
But how did
What
you
did
not
they
know
gain?
that? Right?
Did they get money?
We used to call them headset phone jockeys or
Yes.
something. I don't even know
Did
what we
they actually
said.
get an upfront fee?
Yeah, they do. They get
they
a
get-
$500 or
Okay, there you
some
go.
sort of hostage
Okay.
money.
They get paid.
Buyer beware.
Right. Well, some places get paid on application. And other places get paid at closing. You want to work with someone who gets paid at closing. It's in their best interest your loan closes. If you work for somebody who gets paid on origination, they could care less. They get paid up front.
And here's the deal. There's lots of them. It's just not us out
Right.
there. We're not the only player in town who's legit and great.
Yes, there are
There's
other
some, but
legit
there's-
players. Absolutely.
But then the other 50% aren't. It's a 50-50 world. You got to find
That's
them.
why you got to go through a real estate agent. We know the good lenders.
That's right. You're right.
No doubt. You're not going to jeopardize your driving around a client for 3 months and all
Well,
of a
we
sudden they
want
get
a
a
golden
lender.
ticket. We want the golden ticket. We
Right.
want the approval letter.
Right.
We don't want the pre-qualify letter.
Correct.
We want the
And
approval
here's
letter.
the reality. A pre-qualification letter isn't really worth the paper it's written on because it's literally, I pulled credit, we had a conversation, I think I can do it. Then all of a sudden you get tax returns and realize they've written off half their income. Or that they told you what they make because they didn't send pay stubs and you realize that they had a giant bonus, but they only had it for 1 year and they're not getting it this year. So that income that they told you is really, $40,000 less. There's so many other aspects to this job, which is why even though people say, well, I got a pre-approval from so-and-so and they didn't ask me for pay stubs, they didn't ask me for a tax return, they didn't want to see anything, they just pulled my credit. Well, that's why.
That's exactly why. Well, we're wrapping it up. Kathy Marsh, you're awesome. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
A lot
Harvey,
of fun to have
you're great.
you.
Lisa, awesome.
Oh, yay. Thanks for coming.
Lots of experience.
It was
If you
so
want to check
fun.
out or deal with some real professionals, Kathy Marsh, Realty Executives, hometown up there in Shelby Township. They got a beautiful office and a great staff up there. Pleasure to have you and meet you, Kathy.
Thank
really
you
great
so
stuff.
much.
You know, I just want to say this: home ownership equals happiness. I didn't write. I wrote it down, but someone else wrote it. A recent survey says that 93% of homeowners say having a home makes them happier. Renting doesn't. Hey, they engage in more things like gardening and hobbies, building communities. There's an emotional attachment to your house. It's great
Exactly.
stuff. What else can I say? Better
love
social
that.
life, too. All right, we got Pat Caputo coming up with sports. Thanks for listening to the Hardcore Mortgage Show. For Kathy Marsh, for Lisa Lawson, I'm Harvey Freed. We'll catch you next Saturday.